Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jeff Young with Sporties Mobile Detailing. Here to bring you a few tips and pointers and just the way I do things and the process I take, the steps I take on any vehicle that you may have to detail. As you can see in the beginning, it's pretty much the before. You're just getting the vehicle cleared, the floor mats taken out, so you can tell what you're up against. As you can see now, they're pretty much rubber mats, so you want to attack those early so you can get them out the way pretty much and give them time to dry, and basically included in the beginnings process, which is washing the car. Not shown in this picture or video is the upholstery mats, which definitely had to be done and were done first, which gives ample drying time, pretty much the entire appointment to dry. As you see me doing these floor mats, you never want to get too close to floor mats or rubber, depending on the amount of PSI or whatever, or it might not even take much to leave indentations. So definitely know the strength of your pressure washer and realize you definitely don't need a lot of pressure, because that leads to damaging things. And as you can see here, I definitely always keep my clips on my band and make sure I can hang these mats up. Pretty much in the next process of this full detail is pretty much taking care of that engine. The engine's going to get pretty messy, and it's always good to do it first because dirt, mud, dust, things are going to fly, and you don't have to be picky on how you do things in order to get this engine clean. Definitely got to have detail brushes. I highly recommend an air gun, because that air gun it plays the biggest role. Hard to reach places and just leaving that clean, smooth look. And time is money in this business, as we all know. This is something I like to have my student workers, high school kids, or any co-worker or employee that I have start off, because it's easy, it's basic, and it definitely helps me pretty much make it possible where I can get other things done, prep the outside while they're doing this pretty simple task. You're pretty much just getting the plastics. It's a simple wipe down, nothing crazy. No water getting sprayed everywhere. Of course, chemical, all purpose, but nothing too serious. Just clean, giving it a good matte look. As you can see, there's that air gun, which definitely telescoping one comes in handy. Gets a lot of debris out of the way as well. Now, throughout this process, pretty much you're just going for the plastic parts that you know you can clean. Basically, in my full detail, I throw in an engine wipe down. The air gun with the chemicals does a lot of work. You're just trying to get it pretty, and it really doesn't take much. And you definitely don't want to go spraying water. If need be, sometimes you can steam, but the typical Range Rover owner definitely doesn't have a vehicle, as far as the engine goes, that's going to be too messy. It's a lot of plastic, which helps it look even better in the end. Just depending on how you do things. It's a lot of ways to do this. You just want to have it down right, make sure things are clean, wiped down, and have a good look for your before and after pictures. Usually after this process, I get ready to start the car, hit up the outside, probably use most of the time bug and tar for that skirt area, which there's nothing else you can use if you want to do a good job or get that smooth look prior to applying wax. And as you can see now, I'm rinsing, but I'm pretty much just rinsing off the bug and tar. I've already did the rims, the wheels. I didn't show that process, but pretty much that's done first, right after the engine pretty much, or while the engine's being done. Here we go with the foam cannon. Of course, I got a few things speeded up so you're not wasting too much time watching me work. But if you don't have one, you should have one. Of course, it does a great job. It keeps the vehicle wetter longer, which prevents a lot of water spots, especially if you're working alone. That way you can get it done. It's still moist. It gets into certain cracks. It helps pre-soak the vehicle. You can put additives into it, which would pretty much help break down things. Because you definitely, when it comes to the car paint, you don't want to focus on having to do careless scrubbing up against debris and things in the car that will carry on the glove and pretty much scratch and create swirls, which we all know we do not want. Pretty much with this, even though it's not shown, I do have 2 grit guards in the bucket. I have the 1 grit guard at the bottom, as well as that new side grit guard. So if I was using a brush, I'd be able to dip it in and at the same time rub it up and down like a grater up against the brush. But it helps with the gloves too as well. You need that dirt to sit in the bottom, not interfere with the rest of the wash. As you know, of course, start from top to bottom. Pretty simple process. Most of the work I usually try to get done before I get to washing, as far as getting that dirt off the skirt, pretty much getting those rims done, and wheel wells, those tires, the bugs on the front. Try to get all that attacked first. So when I'm washing, I'm just washing. I really don't want to have to do any scrubbing. That's why you do a good pre-rinse. It's pretty much a must that you should have bug and tar available for the skirt and the front at all times. And pretty much it's a simple process. Please have a stool or step ladder. Some people step on the owner's little step rails or open doors and step into the car just to have access to the roof. It's kind of tacky. I mean, to each his own, but I think we all know in this business it's pretty good money, so definitely want to invest in little things that will impress your customer and make you look even more professional, which brings more money. What you see in my right hand, what I just dropped was the clay bar glove. That is pretty much very essential into just removing dirt that a regular hand wash mitt is not going to get off. Honestly, you definitely need one of those. You're getting cheaper nowadays, just like that foam cannon. Those things are extremely cheap. Depending on which ones you buy. Some last, some don't, but you're making good money. Take care of it as best you can and make sure you get your worth out of it. After that process is done, move on to the waxing. Pretty much always go with that black pad or that real soft pad. I always use like a paint sealant. I feel that all wax is wax. You understand? It's not which wax you use, it's how often you wax. Once again, it's never what wax you use, it's how often you wax. Of course, we can go to paint sealants. Those play a bigger role. Synthetic wax, those also play a bigger role. But for your typical customers that want wax, depending on what you're charging them, that should play a role in what you offer as a detailer. Certain customers, they want the best. Make sure you have the best on deck. I mean, please have some type of dual action machine. It hurts me when I see people applying wax by hand sometimes, unless it's like a Jeep Wrangler or a Rubicon or something. Then I can understand. So much plastic, so many little spots. best to do it by hand. But your typical car, depending on how much time you have, or your client base, or your customer base, the amount of cars you have for the day, you might want to invest in the dual action because it's so easy and it looks good. It looks professional. Yeah, you're just applying wax, but the average person might not apply wax. The average person, being the customer, has probably never seen wax applied. They may think you're buffing, which is another good thing, actually. If they think you're buffing, you're just putting it on and buffing it off. And plus, with little scratches, especially on white cars, the dual action, sometimes you can kick up the speed, change the pad, you can get out light scratches. I mean, always doing a little more. May not be requested, but a little more goes a long way in this business. Here we are getting to the inside. Not bad at all. I don't have much on this because it's in pretty good shape. Of course, a lot of crumbs. Your typical car, but all-purpose, light all-purpose and steam, you definitely can't go wrong. Everyone doesn't have a steamer, I understand this, but you definitely want to have, if not an air gun. Usually after this type of process, I definitely throw in the air gun because you might get certain spots, crevices, things wet, and definitely don't want to have that mess up any electronic things. But as you can see, we're all done. It's pretty simple, pretty fast, pretty basic. I plan on doing more videos, so I felt like as time goes along, I can get in depth in more things and pretty much break down my process, explain how I do things, and try to help anybody who's trying to get help, because seeing is believing. And pretty much we're all done, and there will be more to come. Thank you.